Hi everybody, Sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. So you guys, I just wanted to post this recording here. This was actually a conversation that took place. It's being posted on Facebook. They're talking about Thabo Bester. I think honestly, if you have time to listen to the whole thing, it actually gives you a picture of who Thabo Bester is and what he has been up to, you guys. Also, just the fact that it looks like there were people that were aware for some time that Thabo Bester was out, and they did warn the police, but nothing was done about that. About the fact that he was out. I don't know if they just didn't believe the people that this guy is out here free, or because, like they say, there are people that were involved that are in high places, they were scared to act on it. But just listen to it, you guys, and make your own decision what you think about it. And also, I think towards the end, it's interesting for me that there is a mention when it comes to like the dealings with the properties and all of that. There is a mention of doctors being involved, because you guys, I do feel like Unandipa might have involved a lot of her friends in these schemes, and I feel like some of them, because when you look online, especially on Twitter, there are people that are defending Unandi, and if you are somebody that is paying attention as well, here on YouTube, there are accounts that look like they're fake that always come under Bester videos. Sort of, it's either they will be defending Ubesta, or they will be defending Unandi, but the accounts would look like they are fake accounts. So I do feel like there is a force behind this whole thing. I kind of feel like there's a lot more people that are involved that have an interest in either Thabo Bester or Unandipa not being found guilty, or maybe not exposing them for what happened. I do believe a lot of Nandipa's friends knew a whole lot more than they are claiming to know. Also, just the fact that all the information that they are coming out with, it's only information that defends Nandipa. So I feel like something is suspicious here when it comes to the friends, you guys. I don't know, but listen to this. It was sort of an interview, or just, let's say, it's a conversation between two people that have had some sort of a contact with Thabo Bester, and I'm going to link the page, the Facebook page here in my description, because of course there's a lot of other things that this guy is posting there by his Facebook page. And thank you so much to Celia Motweneng for sharing the page with me, because it has I have come across so much information from that page, because she's the one that actually helped me and directed me to this particular page. So here it is, you guys. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good day today. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Ningakhohlwa ukuthi ekugcineni ni-like i-video and share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers.
Okay, so in 2008, or somewhere around there, I nailed the Mixit rapist. And the Mixit rapist is moving from bed and breakfast to bed and breakfast. Now, I can't remember the details. I mean, this is a long time ago, 2000, Mixit time. Yeah. 2006, 2007, Facebook came 2007. So what happened from there was he went from bed and breakfast to bed and breakfast, and I picked it up because I got a network of all the bed and breakfast, and they let me know that this guy was bulking. He wasn't paying his beats anyway. But we knew somehow, can't even remember the details, it was a Mixit rapist. Sandy McCown was a journalist for SABC or ENCA. I don't know if ENCA was around, but anyway, some journalist, I think it was SABC. I contacted her down in PE and I said, here's this guy at the bed and breakfast. She got her team with the cops, and they went and arrested this guy. And they've got him live on TV, and then they did an interview with me. I must actually check to see. Anyway, that was like way back. A young man.
So can you not see from that who he is?
They didn't show his face because when they arrested him, he hadn't been charged, so they didn't show his face. So I don't carry on with the stuff. There's a court case and the lawyers. I instigate the searches, I get the hype going, and I get the people talking about it. Then what actually happens is there's a friend of yours called Cheryl. I won't mention her name, her surname.
Yes.
Cheryl phones me and she says, Andre, you won't believe it, but I have some friends in Hyde Park. At Hyde, and they've been conned. And they're on the way to the airport, and this guy's in the car.
I think you're mixing up the timeline. I think we were before all of this.
Okay, so let's just go there. Maybe, it's like a long time. I'm an old man now. But anyway, bottom line is, your scenario starts off with, back in whatever year it was, we get the date right. I get a phone call from Cheryl. She says, now Cheryl's a very good friend of mine. She says, my very good friend is on the way to the airport with this guy, and they've just realized he's a con artist. Tell me from where you met him and how it went through. And I'm not going to mention your name, but you're going to have to sit closer here so the guys can actually hear your voice, not see your face. I'm going to drink my coffee while I listen.
Drink your coffee.
And if I spurt water, I'm just surprised. Okay,
So I think the year was 2004. It might have been 2005.
No, man, I wasn't born then. 2004?
Yeah, me neither, but...
You must have been in a trip.
Yeah. So, I really don't ever pick up anyone on the side of the road.
You don't pick up guys on the road?
Never, ever have, never...
Not
since. So I was coming up Eaton Road onto Rivonia Road next to the Sandhurst Shell Garage opposite Marritt's Brothers, St. David's Marritt's Brothers.
That's on that bend there where the Shell Garage is, and behind that is where I think the Cell C offices were.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay,
yeah.
Yes.
So there was a young school boy standing there with what I thought was a Hyde Park High uniform, navy with an eagle on the badge.
So he had scrolls.
And he had numerous scrolls, which is why I actually looked at him. He had all these academic scrolls, athletic scrolls, rugby scrolls. I mean, it was literally not ever seen.
It looked like he was going to be head boy.
No. President, king of the world.
Yes.
Which, quite frankly, if his talent had been harnessed,
he could have been
he could have been anything.
He could have been our president.
Yeah.
It could have been. Okay, let's move on.
I looked across at him, and he put his hands together in like a pleading,
like
action.
That.
Yeah, like a praying thing. I thought, oh God, Corin, opened the window. I said, what's wrong? And he said, I'm late for my matric exam.
Oh.
I live with my granny.
Where?
I think he said like Aikenhoff Way.
Isn't it like Orange Palm direction?
I don't know. I can't remember. It really was long ago.
Somewhere.
It was definitely in the south. He said, I live with my granny. I'm an orphan.
Yeah.
And my granny's ill. Didn't have the right money for taxis. I'm going to be late for my exam. And in retrospect, all he wanted from me was just to give him $100.
But no. You, the lady that we know.
No.
That big heart of yours just said,
goodness, this poor child, how terrible with just dropped all my privileged children at different schools.
And the guilt came out.
And I said, no, jump in, I'll drop you at the school, thinking from where he was standing, I was going to Sandown, Hyde Park, I don't know where.
You thought he'd be sharpening his pens because he had to write an exam.
Yeah, so we actually drive almost to Midrand.
Hang on, you're going to a Hyde Park school?
No, he didn't say he was in Hyde Park. I presumed he was at Hyde Park because of where he was standing and because of the uniform. But there are actually lots of schools that have got that yellow golden eagle on the, including my, St. John's blazer looks very similar. Yeah. And so we started driving. I think he took me so far because he was trying to think up a story because
this is like jackpot.
What if it was jackpot? He really just didn't want me to take him to school. He wanted money.
Okay, so now
in retrospect.
Now you're driving with this
But
guy.
now
Okay.
I am going to take him to the school doors because he's late. So I drive him to the school in Midrand. I really can't remember which one it was. And I drop him at the gate. And
Yep.
but the whole way he's talking to me, he's telling me a story, which is
And he's pretty good at it, confident.
very good at it. Nice looking guy. Looked very young. In fact, he was a dead ringer for Brayton Pulsar at that stage.
Oh, really?
He just looked
Okay.
like a young Brayton Pulsar.
Okay.
And he told me that he was sort of 18 rugby and was an amazing athlete.
Of course, he had all the scrolls.
And he had all the scrolls. Didn't even think twice about what he was telling me, and that he had an athletics meet in Durban. He had no idea because he just didn't have the funds, and so I dropped him at school and I said to him, I don't know if I gave him my number or he gave me his number. And I drop him at school and off I go.
And you go, and now you're driving back and you're thinking...
Now I'm driving home and I speak to my friend we're both at that stage quite involved in charity work, she even more so now, and I tell her about
And you
this.
live here in the Hyde Park area?
Yes, and I tell her about this child. And I said, Shane B, I think we should try and reach out and try and get him some assistance. We've all got contacts in rugby, athletics.
Yes, we can help this child.
We can help this child.
Because we're connected, we know
we can
make
do
this,
better.
You're going to change this guy's life for him.
Yeah. So, of course, we get over-involved now. And it just gets a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, so so I think I phone him that night, or he phones me, and he tells me about this athletics meeting. And so I said to Belinda, well, let's arrange, at least give him his bus fare
Yes.
or whatever,
Yeah.
So she says, yeah, absolutely. And she speaks to somebody in Durban, arranges accommodation in one of
In Durban?
yeah, a very good friend's house he's going to stay in.
She's going to go with your friends now, not into a hotel.
No, because he's a young guy.
Oh, you
and
want
we
to cover them now,
of
look
course,
after
no,
them.
we're
Oh,
nice
yes.
people. We're nice people. And something happened. So I'd given him the...
Okay, so now, so from the school, did you go and pick him up and bring him? Did he have accommodation?
No.
How did he get
I
to you?
really can't remember where I now see him again, or I meet him somewhere. I really can't remember those
Okay.
details because it's a long time ago.
Yes.
But we land up having a meeting with my friend and I and him, and he tells us his whole story, and it's so impressive.
And you're heartbroken.
I mean, we sound incredibly thick, but we're not the thickest people in the world,
No,
the pair of us.
No,
And
actually quite sharp.
but he had us hook, line, and sinker. And I just remember one thing, which was just the funniest, and we laugh about it to this day. My friend asked him, Thabo, how did you learn to run so fast,
From the cops.
Well, would have been probably the true answer. But what he said was, well, I used to live on a farm. And the farmer had two sons who were actually friends with me and very nice to me, except they both had these quad bikes. And I didn't, so I had to run next to them. And can you believe we actually bought that story? We bought it. I know.
Because you wanted to buy it.
And it was so good. Don't think we went home and shouted at our kids and said, "You such spoiled brats!
Yeah, you spoiled little brats. Get out here and run next to the car to school.
Exactly.
Don't
it was
give
a bit
me
like
this nonsense."
So something happens, and he's got to go to. I think we give him his 200 rand for the bus to Durban, but he's obviously spotted these aunties and thought,
No, these aunties,
I can reel these
I can
aunties
get some
in.
more in here. Yeah, let me just hang around.
So the bus leaves without him.
Oh my God! Now you've organised the bus.
Still no alarm bells,
Nothing. And the
nothing.
guy's
He's
just a
so
normal
convincing.
kid.
He's
He's
just a
just
kid.
missed
It's
the
just
bus.
terrible. He's missed the bus. He's
Oh.
late for his matric exams.
And he's late for his exam. He's late for the bus.
I know, it's
And he
it's
runs
too
next
terrible.
to the guys on motorbikes.
So don't think that we don't book him an air ticket.
No.
No, of course.
Kululu wasn't around there.
I can't. It was probably SAA.
Hang on. Kulula, you bought expensive tickets. You didn't buy cheap seats.
Well, I don't know.
Because there weren't cheap seats in those days. Kulula only around...
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah?
I particularly remember it being 600 rand.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's
So,
like 20 years ago.
which was
600 rand is
probably
like,
quite a lot.
My rent.
Yeah, yeah. So we organise this ticket. I meet up with him, and we take him because the poor child can't go to Durban starving.
No.
We take him to the Mug and Bean in Peter Place.
Yes.
And we buy him breakfast.
Oh, yes.
Before I take him to...
Oh.
Yeah, and Belinda gives him a cell phone.
Yes.
And says, if you've got any problems,
There's a cell phone.
because he says no, his cell phone got
cell phone,
stolen
no,
and whatever.
Yeah?
So Belinda had an old cell phone somewhere, brought it along, and off we go to the airport. And as I'm driving, and I had quite a fancy car, and it was just when those phones that were all interconnected.
Oh, so you're now hands-free.
Yeah. So
Oprah just come out and said we need hands-free. I remember that. Yeah.
So we're driving along the road, go to the OR Tambo, and I say to him, "What position do you play in rugby?"
Oh, that's a trick question.
And he's a little guy,
Yeah.
a little guy.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting him to say that on the wing because
Brayton would have played that.
and because you're small and fast.
Yes.
I know
You
that.
know a little bit about rugby.
He says, "No, I'm inside centre," and I thought,
No, there's a little too
uh-uh.
small.
And as I look at him, I see that he's got a pierced ear, no earring,
Yeah.
but he's got a pierced ear, which for me just didn't.
Back in the day.
Well, it didn't kind of go together with a very religious guy brought up by his grandmother at school with an earring. And I suddenly thought, oh, I just had this sinking feeling.
Yeah.
And with that, my phone rang.
Oh, yes.
And I saw it was Belinda.
Okay.
And I actually took it off the hands-free.
Okay, so that's...
I just had an instinct,
yes.
okay?
Look here. My hair.
So-
Because this is where it starts.
Because I'm not as anxious as I sounded in the beginning.
You took away all of that niceness out of you.
Yeah,
and
I
the real
thought,
woman came out of
So I
you.
think, I am in this car with this kid, and no one actually, besides my friend, knows where I'm going.
Yeah, and you...
And so the phone rings, and I pick up the phone, and she says, "Corin, we have a problem." And I said, I think so. And she said, "I'm sitting with Cheryl, and I've been telling her the story." And she said, no.
Oh, Cheryl's wide awake.
Let's phone Andre, because Andre has
Use
put
this
this
case.
on
Use this case. Couldn't have been Facebook.
I think she said on
No,
Facebook.
but I did Facebook 2007.
Okay. So she said
No,
somewhere,
you were a member of my Blockwatch team.
maybe the E-Block.
Yes,
That's
that
what
was
it was.
E-Block-watch,
Yeah.
and
Yes,
Cheryl
that's
was a
exactly
member
what
of
it was.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
so
was
she said,
on
"I know
E-Block
this guy
Watch.
does this
She said
stupid stuff."
there's a story going around on E-Block Watch that with this exact modus operandi.
The guy that was conning people.
Yes, generally woman,
Yeah.
and wears a school uniform with
Yes,
all these scrolls and whatever. So I said, okay. So I slowed down. She says, "Listen, they're arranging the cops to meet you at the airport."
Hey, how sharp is that?
I know. Can you imagine trying to do that today?
No, I mean, geez, you're connected, eh?
Well, very connected.
Cheryl's
Okay.
connected to you, connected
Yeah.
to me, I'm connected. Oh, this connection is unbelievable.
So we eventually get to OR
Pull up at
Tambo.
OR. Now your
And
hands
all
are,
he
now
wants
you're
me
quiet.
to do, is drop him off
Yes.
with his cell phone.
His kid.
We've probably given him money as
And
well.
I heard that you bought him clothes. And I heard he had
No, we
kids.
didn't buy him clothes. We didn't buy him clothes.
Okay. But didn't he sleep at your homes as well?
Never, ever.
Okay.
No, that was
So the
somebody else.
story is
No,
probably-
that was somebody else. I'll tell you.
Okay.
So I said, no, you know what? I'm going to see you in, because now I'm a little bit pissed off, and I want to see the cops grab this little so-and-so. So we park in the underground and we walk, and you must think, Jesus, how do I get rid of this woman? I mean, she's too much. All I just want some money from her.
I wanted money from a garage, and now I'm sitting.
And
I've got to fly to Cape
in the
Town.
meantime, my phone had been ringing all the time, and I was talking to people, and I think he was suspicious.
Yes.
And I was speaking to whichever policeman you'd organised.
So I sorted them out, and I said, wait there,
Yeah.
this is your car registration, you're going to be pulling up, and I actually told you to pull up at the spot.
No,
if I remember correctly.
No, they said they'll be waiting for you at the escalators.
Okay.
Okay, so we walk in, and as we get to the escalators, police come forward and they grab him. I say, thank you very much. I'll have that cell phone back.
And I'll take my pocket money back.
I don't think...
And my sandwiches and my mug and bean
yeah,
coffee.
I can't remember, but I'll take the cell phone back. And we have a big laugh about it. And we go, what stupid bored housewives are we that we get into nonsense like this? Big laugh. Everybody's laughing at us.
Trying to be nice, eh?
And because my friend's husband is a well-known media personality, someone picked up on the story, and the pair of us landed up on the front page of the Sunday Times that weekend, which was incredibly humiliating because we got phone calls all weekend long saying...
for being a nice person.
No, like I need an etiquette. It went on all weekend.
But hang on. You came back from the airport.
Yes.
You went to Hyde Park School.
No.
Who went to Hyde Park School?
That was next.
Next? Okay.
Next.
Because that's where
so
I was.
now he's arrested, and I'm thinking, well, I'll take this child in my... I don't know that much about the state in those days.
Yeah.
I believe the police would take him, and he was a child, and he would go into some kind of a reformatory, and they'd give him some lessons.
So the police have now arrested him and taken over, and you
and
feel...
it's gone.
You
it's
feel
gone.
completely... You're completely satisfied. You've done your job as a South African.
Absolutely.
You're being kind. You did the right thing. This is the Rainbow Nation. You're going to be the good South African. Everything is just the perfect story.
Yeah, so now we've got over our humiliation, well, not quite over the humiliation of the
nice,
weekend,
you don't have to feel bad.
but everyone's laughing at us.
Everybody's phoning you.
Oh, no, it was a very bad weekend. It was just like, we just had to suck it up. I mean, my friend even got calls from Australia. So, and so it's kind of forgotten, and at home, I think it was the Monday or the Tuesday, literally of the next week, literally days away afterwards.
What happens?
Another girlfriend who's had a good laugh at our expense phones me. She says, Corin, your friend.
Your friend.
Does he wear that
badges?
She says he's standing on the corner of Cleveland and Killarney.
Where the hell is that?
So right here in Hyde Park.
Right behind this where we are now at the Hyde Park Hotel. Behind you, yes?
Yeah. Standing on the corner of Cleveland and Killarney. I know it's the same guy because he looks like Brayton Pulsar.
Yeah.
And
she says Brayton's standing on the road.
Yeah, she says it's your guy and he's back, and I think impossible.
No, he's not. Not this guy.
Impossible.
You dropped him at the airport. He's going fishing
No, he's in jail. He's in jail. This is Monday or Tuesday.
He's out of jail again. Okay, yes.
So this is sort of Monday or Tuesday of that weekend. I mean, it's literally 5 days since he was arrested. Can't possibly be on the streets with the same blazer. So there's a friend of my husband's at the house, and I say to him, "I'll just come with me, just in case, and we jump in. It's literally around the corner, literally 2 blocks from our house. And we go up there, and there, lo and behold,
is this man.
Is the same kid in the same blazer.
With the same tennis racket and baseball bat and cricket bat on his arm.
Standing there going,
Victor Ladora.
Doing this, I see him doing literally the same movement.
You see him again?
Exactly that, yeah. He's right there. So,
he must have shut himself
so as he sees me, he runs.
No ways.
But now...
He's not as fast as you thought he was, because you went out for him.
My husband's friend, who's now pissed off, jumps out and chases him, tackles him into the garden, is about to give him a bloody good hiding, which probably would have had a better effect than all the...
probably would have been a month now.
Yeah, would have had a better effect than all the state intervention. So as he's about to just lambaste him, 3 cars pull up. Don't touch him, and everyone jumps out and starts running. We think, where did these people come from? It's the sports master from Hyde Park.
Oh.
With the whole team with him, they trying to catch this guy.
Why are they trying to catch him?
Because what his real modus operandi was to catch a lift, put the hand in the handbag, steal the purse, get dropped off. Petty criminal, okay? He was just a kid.
Yes. How did you know? Did you know his name?
He had told me that his name was Thabo.
Thabo.
Yeah. And we had to book him an air ticket, so he had to have a name.
He had to have his name.
Yeah.
Thabo Bester.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he said, okay? So now I phone my friend and I say, I need you as a witness. We're going up to Hyde Park High. Meet me at Hyde Park High. You were there.
That's it. We went into the headmaster's office, into the boardroom, and we sat down there. And there we had your media personality's husband sitting there. We won't mention his name.
And the cops and whatever.
And the cops were sitting there, and we all sat there. And Thabo was there, and we spent from about
So the amazing thing was that they had never... I think they didn't take that blazer away from him when they arrested him at the airport, because he didn't have it with him, because remember, he was going to Durban. So he probably just had it, and he wasn't going to Durban for an athletics meet, so... No. He probably had his casual clothes, was going to have a weekend in Durban, con a few people there, come back.
Fly back again.
Yeah. So now he's properly arrested. And we're told that they've taken away that blazer.
So this is the second time in a week that he's been arrested?
Second time in 5 days. He's arrested. And we think that's the end of it now. He will,
you hand him over to the state and you say,
and it's
you've done your job and you're happy because he's with the cops.
Yeah.
And the cops are good.
And
they can handle it.
And it's over. Yes. And they assure me that they're destroying that blazer, that he no longer has this method of conning people. But because of the Sunday Times article, my friend gets calls from other people, other women, that have been conned. And one of them had given him 10,000 rand, which in those days was...
10 grand?
Was a substantial amount of money.
A Hyde Park mother?
No, she wasn't. She was like from Bryanston or Four Ways.
Oh, we live in Bryanston.
Yeah.
No, couldn't have been Bryanston. Yeah. 4 Ways, must have been a Four Ways mother. Maybe 4 Ways, okay.
Anyway, very nice lady and incredibly humiliated. She'd even let him stay at her house a couple of times.
Has she got daughters?
I don't know.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Just my mind's just running away with me. Okay.
So, Belinda speaks to this lady, and we're going, Jesus, we got away lightly, you know what I mean? And what a little so-and-so. But his stories are so good that we just look, we say, this kid is so clever. Like, somebody should just harness his talent. Anyway, end of story.
Gone out of your life.
Out of our life.
Missing in
years later, because I am a bit of a news junkie, I'm reading online news and I see Thabo Bester, the Facebook rapist, has been arrested.
Yes, but now this is like
years.
10 years in 2010, 2010.
Something like that.
And that's very close to the time I arrested the Mixit rapist. Now, I'm still trying to get somebody to help me and find out whether that is the same guy.
Yeah.
Because the dates are very good, but he was arrested in PE, but then the internet says the Facebook rapist was arrested here, and so I'm trying to put those two together. But I'll tell you something very interesting that happens to me then. A cop phones me, and I don't know who he is. He says to me, Andre, you know that guy that you had arrested, or your friends had arrested back in the day, and he was a con artist, and his name was Thabo Bester. That is the same guy who is the Mixit rapist, and he's the same guy who's the Facebook rapist.
Okay. Well, I recognized him immediately.
I'm trying to work out. Maybe one of the cops would do some work and crop around and find out.
Can't be that difficult.
No, I mean, just type in his number.
There was a picture of him. If you'd have asked me at that point what was that kid's name, I would never have remembered it.
Yes.
But as I read Thabo Bester, because it's an unusual, it's a mix of
But Thabo's at his best, doing these cons,
Yeah. So I phone my friend and I say to her, just look at this. It's before the days, I think before WhatsApp, when we just sent articles to each other. I said, go online and look at this. And we're going, oh my God. He really developed into a fantastic character, didn't he? Because he'd even murdered someone. So I said, well, just as well, he was only a kid.
He was only starting to warm up.
Yeah, he was only a kid. And gee, can you believe that this is who we were involved with? And all of 2 days. But the funny thing was that because I took that cell phone back.
You had numbers.
So I'm going back to 2004 now. I switched the phone on. And the numbers come up, so I start phoning numbers. because I'm a bit of a frustrated detective at the best of times.
So aren't we all inside? You have to be in South Africa to survive.
To get any kind of justice.
Yeah, I mean, even get your SABC license paid, you've got to be a detective. Yeah?
Exactly that. So I start phoning numbers on this phone, and they're mostly children, very young people. And I don't know, I can't remember what story I give them, but some of them won't talk to them, and a lot of them do. No, then I said, so who do you know from this number? And they say TK. It's TK. It's TK's number. So I'm thinking Thabo Bester isn't his real name. I think he's TK something. So and I think that's my gut's instinct to this day.
TK's been his alias
since 2004.
2004 to now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I speak to a few people, and they say, no, he arranges these music events, and he's a music promoter. He's a school kid.
And that was back then. He was doing music promotions.
Yeah. So he says he does these events and these promotions. So I think he just probably got better at what he'd been doing as a child. There was one phone call that particularly sticks in my mind. Thabo, TK, had told me he often stays at a friend's house, and his friend's name was something I can't remember, but I found that name on the phone. And I phoned and I spoke to him and I said, I want to speak to your father. And this gentleman came on the phone and I told him the story. And he said, literally, he went, oh my God, this kid has been living in my house. He said, and now I'm going to tell you something you can't reveal to anyone because I will lose my job. He says, I am Nelson Mandela's bodyguard. He said, and if anyone found out that I was this stupid, I would lose my job immediately. He said, so don't feel bad. This is a very clever guy. He had me, a trained professional, fooled. And that conversation has stuck in my mind ever since.
Can you believe that?
So definitely the name TK, which my gut instinct tells me is his proper name. Maybe he came up with Thabo Bester for us. Maybe he'd never used Thabo Bester, because nobody knew him as Thabo Bester on that phone. They knew him as TK.
Being a bootkie, hanging out with the rugby players,
I don't know. He just
fits in better with that?
I just don't know. So I read in the Sunday Times that he had stolen an identity from a Thabo Bester who was in jail. I think that's just coincidence, because in 2004 this kid gave us the name Thabo Bester.
I have a theory about that Thabo Bester, because there is another guy called Thabo Bester who was in jail.
Yes.
And he got them, but they were in jail at the same time. So this tells me somehow that he was in cahoots with somebody in the police.
But I don't think he'd been in jail by the time he gave us the name Thabo Bester. He was a kid.
No, but shit.
The cops told us they couldn't prosecute him because he was under 18.
But this guy has been done some. Okay, so carry on. I want to jump into another story.
No, I know, and I read that story about that Thabo Bester that was in jail, and he says his identity's been stolen.
But you know what? You go to the cops. If you're in the cop and you type in Thabo Bester, whoop, it pops up. And the guy says, "Oh, but there's another Thabo. Are you this Thabo?
But he's much older than him. So
who cares? The cops don't see age. I don't want to scare
So I'm thinking that TK name, and I saw a surname in the newspaper, TK something, is probably his real identity. But that's just a gut instinct. I really don't know.
There is so much information about this guy. He's got so many ID numbers. He doesn't even his mother doesn't know whether she gave birth or she had a cesarean. I'm sure it's like.
And then just a year or so ago, reading the news again, and I saw that he'd burnt to death in his cell.
How sad.
And I went, oh yeah, okay, it was probably the right outcome, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Karma.
Yeah.
In a cell.
In the story.
Private karma.
And then very shortly after that, my friend said, I've run into Andre, and he says that this guy is out and about. And
when he burnt it, no, he's out and about, and I got so excited when I saw, because I saw walking out of Winnie's, and I said, I want to tell you about your friend.
I know.
Because nobody, I was chasing this arsonist around here.
Yes.
And they said it was a bullshit story. So I'm very scared of people thinking that I'm bullshitting, because sometimes I think they don't get all of the stuff wrong.
Whack job, yeah.
But you know what? I've been telling journalists, and I've been telling the cops, and I've been telling people in the court that my next story is going to be the Facebook rapist. And they think,
he's dead
now. So I keep quiet about that, and then when I'm at a dinner party, I start telling people, and I hear them mumbling off somewhere else, and I say, well, maybe they just like don't want to hear my cuck stories anymore. And I said, this is the best story that is ever going to hit the news. It's that Netflix story. Just have another beer.
No?
You know what?
It's a
you
movie.
know what? When this guy died, even though, should I know so much, I can't even tell you here. I knew straight away that this wasn't the guy. And I also knew a week later he contacted somebody, and I know this person knows him, and she said, we knew then already.
Yeah, because that was months ago. That was months ago.
That was a year ago. Okay, so I've been following him again since last year, December.
Yes.
January. Last year, January.
And he was around the corner from me.
Last year, January, this guy got a boarding pass. What do you call it? A boarding school pass. You know, when you get leave at boarding school, you go out. He was in and out of jail.
Yes.
And he had so much. Maybe he didn't go back to jail. Maybe he just sent a replacement. Maybe he had somebody with his card, like his Virgin Active card.
When the truth comes out, which it inevitably does, it's going to be very interesting.
Okay, I'll tell you another thing. Then already, I knew that there, up the road here, in Hyde Park, what's the street? Second Avenue.
I drive past that every day.
I went to the guy at the gate at Second Avenue, and there are two gates there.
Yes.
And I went to the one chap and I said to him, he said, what do you want? I said, I'm looking for TK. He says, TK is not here. So I said, where's TK? He says, he's come back just now, he'll be here. He drives a white Porsche. So I said, okay.
Fab.
So I said, okay, this is interesting. My TK, because I wasn't sure whether this guy, the information I had now was bullshit because he's meant to be in jail. And I'm trying to establish if this person is telling me he's got it confused.
Yes.
Because he is confusing character.
Yes.
So I go back and I go and look there. And I look over the wall and I see there's a house that's been demolished. And our TK lives in this house. There's a house next door that's been demolished. Then I start finding out there's some doctors involved in this house and shit like. Now the story comes out with doctors, and his girlfriend's a doctor, a celeb doctor.
And I saw in the Citizen this morning that it was actually her brother who said that this guy is living with my sister.
But I don't even know where that came from. I've got so many more stories it's like unfolding, and as these stories come, you look back and that the piece of the puzzle gets together.
Where did all the money come from?
This is what I'm interested in. You know, he was paying 72,000 Rand a month rent there, and he paid a year in advance. The guy never did a credit check on him because he paid a year in advance.
Of course.
Now, 72,000 Rand, you come out of jail. How does he get 72,000?
And in the
How does he drive a Porsche?
And in the Sunday Times, it says they left in such a hurry, left in one
watch over $1 million Rand.
You know, look, it might have just been a fake watch.
No. Look, so let me tell you something. I'm working with the Sunday Times.
Yeah.
That whole story, and we put together with this.
Yes.
I actually called them in. I said, I've got a story for you. And the guy said, and he said, okay, let me hear the story. And he said, no. In his 25 years of being a journalist, this is the biggest story he's ever done.
I've been watching it over the weekend develop on TV, and it's just like literally journalists are going,
there's a guy from Ground Up, I don't know who he is. He started doing this stuff, and I said, okay, well, he's onto it now because.
Yes.
But we were onto it last year already, and nobody would listen to my story because I've gone cuckoo. I'm crazy. This ex-artist is dead, man. He's gone and be buried. There is still so much more coming out on this. I'm going to leave it now because we've been talking for 35 minutes and I don't know how to download it. But shit, this is an amazing story. And hang in here because you and I are going to catch this guy. We're not going to catch the guy.
Let's hope the cops do their job.
The cops must catch. We don't shoot anybody anymore.
I believe there's a National Intelligence Task Force on it.
Yes. And that's there's a lot of confidence.
Yeah, no, but they are good people.
Okay, now I'll tell you
They
something.
are good people.
So I think what I'm going to do, I chase this arsonist around here,
Yes.
and you know how I do it. This is my trick to all those people out there that might do it. First of all, I pick up trends, and then I sort of like say, this is what's happening, and the guys on Ray's lost it again. Then I say, okay, cool. Then I get a journalist to like put their toe in the door and be brave enough to write what they think is bullshit. So they write the stuff, and then the cops say it's fake. So now they're too scared to write my story. So they first get the second source from, then the cops deny, but now I go and show the journalists the houses that are burnt, and then the WhatsApp groups from all the mothers in the area saying, this is bullshit, Andre speaking, damn it, and you can see them on their little WhatsApp group, Andre speaking shit again, he's just causing crap. Where does he get his source from? He's spreading lies. Yeah. And I think, okay, so now you've got to fight the purple rinse ladies on the WhatsApp that are sitting there doing their shit. And then you're fighting the journalists who are saying you cuckoo. And then the police come. I even had a call from the insurance companies to tell me to keep quiet. And they were paying out the claims. And I said, I can't understand why.
Why would you not want to know the truth?
Why doesn't anybody want the truth?
Yeah.
Shit. Anyway, so the bottom line is that so I do this. I get the one story going, and I get the other story going, and I get in the media. And once it hits the media, it takes the file from the bottom and puts it at the top. Now, Thabo, I've been talking about him for a year. Two journalists and everybody.
Yeah.
Now, I spoke about this thing. We hit the Sunday Times of the story as well.
And ENC have covered it.
Bang, right at the top now. Now it's at the top. What we've got, a national task team. We had a national task team chasing the arsonists. For a year, we had eventually...
Because they didn't really believe he was real.
100,000 Rand reward. We got helicopters out. We got the security companies fighting each other for turf. Who's going to be the hero? We had CAP, we had Fidelity. And they stole the jury's out to who caught this guy. But I know who caught him because I got the inside story.
Yes.
Bottom line, what I'm going to do right now, Fidelity is coming out with a task team. And this task team is going to work together. A joint venture with the national security. And then I'm sure the other security companies would come in. And then eventually they catch them, and then they put out statements that say this, and then I say, wasn't he Blockwatch involved? And they say it was a joint statement. I said the only joint that we had was the one that we smoked. We never did anything. So that is where I go to. So right now, we're going to get a task team who's going to collaborate with the other task team, who's going to collaborate with the other security company. We're going to do the same thing as the arsonists.
Yes.
We're going to put out stuff there. We're going to put out.
Dangerous.
I'm only the messenger. Thabo, don't shoot the messenger. Just keep it
TK.
Keep TK. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm only the guy that gets the information. I am fascinated. Watch this space. And your name is Julie
Smith.
Judy in disguise. Thank you very much, Judy.
Pleasure.